Welcome to UBS. Today we are talking to Francesca Prym. Francesca is the CEO of UBS Fund Management and the head of Manco's Europe. We're going to be talking to Francesca about her rise to the top, the biggest challenges she encountered. We're also going to be talking to her about her vision for Luxembourg, the biggest opportunities, the biggest threats, her connection to Luxembourg, and how the path forward lays ahead for her. We have with us Francesca, the CEO of UBS Fund Management and the head of Manco's Europe. Thank you very much for taking your time joining us on the podcast, Francesca.
Good morning.
I'm going to jump straight into the questions. When we look at your profile, one of the things that stands out is your unique path to the top. I'd love to hear more about how you progressed through your career through the top in a very unique way, given that you've come from the risk management compliance side of things. In the typical corporate environment, we see a lot of traditional leaders coming in through revenue centers. But for you, this is a very inspirational story, especially for Luxembourg, where we have so many people in this side of the aisle.
Also because probably the management company is more a regulatory requirement than a revenue center. But basically, first of all, right moment and good place. This is something which we need from time to time in the life. And also because I took two important and good professional decisions in my life. The first one in 2007, when I decided to move to asset management. And at that time, I had the chance to work with Patrice Strassen, who created the director's office. And we started all discussions about corporate governance, roles and responsibilities of a board member of a management company. And the second one in 2016, when I decided to join UBS.
Okay. No, fantastic. It's amazing how these decisions that we make 15 years ago impact us over such a long period of time. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Can I ask you, along this path, were there any specific challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Many challenges, I will say, but if I have to mention just one, it's when I was CEO of a company, which I will not mention, for which the role of female leaders was not recognized because of different culture, because of different mentality. And in fact, I have been asked, for example, during different trips, if I cooked at home, if my husband was informed about the business trip, how I intended to manage final and professional life. And it was an experience. I cannot say that it was a good experience, but I would not be here without this background.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm going to put a pin on that and come back to that, the question of diversity in Luxembourg. But can I ask you, while we're on the UBS topic, to walk us through what's it like? What's a day in the life of Francesca Prym like? How does a typical UBS CEO work?
The day at UBS. If you ask my kids, they will reply that I'm in call all the day. And I speak English with an Italian accent. That's the perception they have. Okay. Now, if I look at my day, but in UBS we have a very complex business. We distribute everywhere in 36 countries. We have all types of products, and we work with more than 150 providers, including distributors, including portfolio managers and central administrations. So, which means that each day is different, and I can tell you even more. Apart from the board of directors or the regulatory meetings, each time I plan to do something, I have to review my plan because something happens. There is not a normal day. Yep. And probably this is the same feedback which you will receive from my people as well.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay, cool. Is there a specific time when you start your day, a specific time when you end your day?
I try to start between 6:30 and 7.
Okay, so very early.
Yeah, usually, because it's also important. I do a break, lunchtime, but I don't go to restaurant. I prefer to run or to do some activities. So I go to fitness club, I invent something. And I end my day at 6 when I'm at the office, late when I work from home.
Okay, but that's amazing. So in the middle of your working day, you're able to, say, I'm going to take a break, run, and then come back to work.
Yeah, correct.
That's very cool. It's very
Correct.
cool.
It's a choice. I don't go to the restaurant. I said.
Yeah, no, and I think that if you as a CEO can do that, then everyone in the organization should ideally be able to say, you know what, I prioritize fitness and I'm going to do this in the middle of the day. That's very cool.
Correct.
Very cool.
And of course, sometimes I have to work late on the evening as well when I come back, but it's feasible.
Fantastic. No, cool. Can I move the discussion a little bit to Luxembourg? I want to know about your connection to Luxembourg, when you came here and how your life here has been.
In French, we say it's a pur hasard. In fact, I moved to Luxembourg in 2000 for personal reasons. I met my husband in Reims during the Erasmus program, and he did not want to live in Brussels. So we said, okay, let's go to Luxembourg. We can remain, we can stay a couple of years, and then we will see. But in fact, we found our home in Luxembourg. We have a lot of friends. It's a safe country. It's a stable country. There are a lot of activities. My kids are born in Luxembourg. They speak 5 languages. We have a good balance, professional and private life. So it's our country now.
I think you've hit so many points that makes Luxembourg so unique, right? It's a great place to raise families, and languages. Like everyone who's gone through a growth phase in Luxembourg comes out speaking so many languages. It's almost like a superpower. Yeah,
that's the reason for which when I go to Italy, they think that my kids are genius, but they're not. They are just part of this country.
Yeah, awesome. Can I ask you, given that you've been here now for 22, 23 years, how do you envision your relationship with Luxembourg evolving over the coming years? And to take that one step further, also from a UBS standpoint, how do you think UBS's relationship and with you at the mantle changes over time with Luxembourg?
We need to promote more Luxembourg. This is what I'm saying, it's more at the level of the country, not only at the level of UBS. I repeat, the country is stable, it's safe. The quality of the service providers is good. They are good people in terms of technical skills, so potential employees, I mean. So we have all arguments in our hand to continue developing business and to attract new talents. Now, I think at the UBS we did it our job, because after several years of discussion, we decided to appoint the management company, the local one, as the hub of the European management companies, reason for which we are opening FML branches everywhere in Europe. We also have a good access to the regulator, which each time there is a concern, there is a problem, we want to discuss something, we take our phone and we call the regulator. And we can find always a solution. That's the reason for which at the level of the different associations, CFA, the ALFI, we need to continue this promotion on Luxembourg. We see as well a clear commitment from the government. Because if you take, for example, as example, our Minister of Finance, she's quite active in speaking with the industry in order to understand what they can do better, which is a positive sign.
Do you I hear a lot about how involved our regulators are. Is that one of Luxembourg's primary differentiating factors? Like, would that be different, let's say, compared to markets, like London or Singapore? Like, are we unique in that respect?
No. Alors, the access to regulator, yes. But at the level of the regulatory changes, those regulatory changes come from Europe, don't come from Luxembourg. And the mistake sometimes we make is to say, okay, but we have a lot of things to do, we receive a lot of requests from the CSSF, it's not the CSSF, it's Europe.
On the same vein, we spoke about some of Luxembourg's strengths. What strengths should Luxembourg continue to leverage to increase its viability as a hub for business? And in the same breath, I'm also going to ask you, we've spoken about a lot of positives. Where can we improve to increase our attractiveness for investment, for talent?
I'm quite positive on Luxembourg, and I don't want to repeat what I just said. But it's true that we don't stop to discuss about wishes of next generation. So I have a proposal for you. Why we don't ask some young talents of UBS to share their opinion on the two questions.
Sounds good.
They come from Italy, they come from Cyprus, Croatia, China, Luxembourg as well. So let's ask them what they think in terms
Sounds
of
good.
pros and cons.
Sounds good. I think some diversity of thought and some opinions from people who are actually living the transition would be fantastic. So we have with us some of UBS's next generation leaders, people who have either grown up in Luxembourg or moved here. They're going to share some of their experiences with us so we can learn from their empirical experiences. So guys, the question I have for you is, what strengths does Luxembourg have that they should leverage to increase its viability as a hub for business?
Yeah, maybe I can take this. I think the cultural diversity of the workforce makes the Grand Duchy an ideal place for doing business for companies that have a global footprint and an international operations. In Luxembourg, employers can count on a large pool of multilingual and talented employees, so it's a great place to source candidates.
Well, I would also say that the wide range of structuring options that Luxembourg offers is very good. And at the same time, Luxembourg's strength relies on its ability to adapt to new industry trends in an ideal way, while maintaining an open dialogue between the regulator and the business.
Cool.
Yeah, and speaking about the new industry trends, Luxembourg is obviously investing into startups, into innovation, and that's then creating more interesting jobs for us and giving us more opportunity in moving away just from finance that is currently leading in Luxembourg.
Yeah, when it comes to new market developments and opportunities and new developments in the world of finance, Luxembourg should also continue being a first mover to quickly establish regulatory frameworks so the market can act.
Super. Can I juxtapose the question and ask you guys about the flip side of things? What areas can we improve in so we can increase our attractiveness for talent, bring more people in, bring investment in? What can we do better?
I think from individual perspective, maybe tax credit could be considered to grant to the single and young talents given the current higher tax rate that levied on the single taxpayer versus the married taxpayers. And from business perspective, I think maybe Luxembourg can increase its global exposure by holding more economic forums or business conference just to let more people know this country.
Definitely, and as well as Luxembourg should definitely consider working on the rental prices because it is a bit too high and the cost of living is already high and it is a bit difficult for the trainees and for young people to catch up with the prices and start their savings.
Yeah.
I also actually do believe that enlarging the offering among different areas of the financial industry, promoting flexible organization where talents can adapt their expertise to the evolving environment and also boost the international culture among different people can be really key elements for attracting but also retaining people and talents here.
Fantastic. Those are great inputs, guys. I love that. I love the inputs about the tax credits, about the cost of living, about ways to get the intellectual, create an intellectually stimulating environment, economic forums. Great ideas, guys. Thank you very, very much. Coming back to UBS and Luxembourg, what can Luxembourg do to deepen UBS's roots here? UBS is already doing a lot of work in Luxembourg, but from a vertical growth standpoint or from a horizontal growth standpoint, is there something that Luxembourg can do to increase its engagement with UBS?
But I think what we are doing now is perfectly what we need to develop our business. And when I look at the asset under management during the last 2 years, but we see an increase of this asset under management. And this is because we had the possibility to attract new talents, to work with the regulator, to find some solutions, because it's not always easy to open a branch with different characteristics and different setup compared to what we have in place now. So it works now. I don't think that we need to improve the current setup.
Okay. And I think we've got a very good working relationship with the government from a policy standpoint, from a regulatory standpoint. It seems like there's a seamless relationship that's working really well.
Correct. So we work with the regulator, we work with the government, we work with everybody, plus all service providers,
Okay.
of course.
Good, good. I'm going to come back to the question, the discussion that we had at the beginning. I want to talk about Luxembourg from a diversity standpoint, especially looking at it from a leadership lens. How does Luxembourg fare from a diversity standpoint, leadership diversity standpoint, relative to the rest of the world, and what can we do better?
But for me, diversity is not only gender, first of all, but it's also profile.
Yeah.
At the level of the gender, when I compare the situation to other countries, we are not so bad. Personally, I strongly believe that we don't need to have quotas in a board, for example, or an executive committee. We just select the right people based on their profiles. And automatically we will see more women leaders in the market. Second point, diversity, and this is an important aspect, also because we have to attract new talent, it's at the level of the profile. If you wanted to work in the financial sector, you don't need to come from the financial sector. If you take, for example, a project manager, you can have a good engineer coming from the industry, able also to manage some financial projects. So we needed to change this mindset and to be more open in this sense.
I love the thought that diversity is just a wide gamut of things, right? Experiences, backgrounds, origins, and I guess when you have different streams of thought, it opens up avenues that we may possibly not have thought of previously.
Correct.
So great. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick rapid fire round. What that means is I'm going to pose a couple of different options, and I'm going to ask you to pick one of the two that's closer to heart that you feel like at the spur of the moment.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to start a little broad. I'm going to say Italy versus Luxembourg.
For the moment, Luxembourg.
Cool. Since you've worked in both of these professions, compliance versus risk management.
Risk management.
Okay, great. Working at 6 in the morning or working at 11 p.m. in the evening?
Oh, 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning, you're a morning person. All right. Working from home or working in the office?
Combination of both.
All right, cool. You want to have a productive morning. Music in the background or silence?
Music.
Super,
definitely music.
Super. Okay, good. Thank you for that, Francesca. One last question to wrap this up. For our audience, what piece of advice would you have for professionals in non-traditional roles? You come from a risk management compliance side, but Luxembourg has a lot of non-traditional roles. What advice would you have for them to grow into leadership roles with you as a role model?
But two advices. The first one, just apply. If you see an interested position, just apply and don't make the mistake in looking at each line of the job description in order to see if you fit the requirements, and then at least you can get a no. Second point, hire good people, even better than you, and don't be jealous. I have a fantastic team, and honestly, I'm not jealous in saying that for many technical aspects, they are better than me, and then give visibility to them.
Okay, I love that idea. So basically, when you're looking at a job description, you don't need to fit 100% of everything.
Correct.
70-80% is already good. And if you don't apply, you've already got a rejection.
I did not want to apply for this role because when I look at the job description, 3 pages, I realized that I could not fit all requirements. And I clearly told my former boss at the time, look, you are looking for a Harry Potter, not for a CEO. I'm not. In fact, at the end I did it, and I'm happy now to be here. So just apply.
Yeah, great. That's great advice. Also, there's a saying, when you are the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So I guess if you surround yourself with smarter people than you, then your overall smartness also probably goes up.
Correct.
So that's fantastic advice. Francesca, thank you very, very much for being a part of this. Thank you very much for sharing your golden advice. We hope to see more of you in Luxembourg and look at all the engagements that you've been contributing to.
Indeed. And thank you very much. Wish you a nice day.
Thank you, Francesca.